Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the Downloadable Opinions Sports Podcast. I'm Adam Gayton, and this is exciting for me because for the first time ever, you can hear the cracking chair in the background, and that's not me, I swear to God. We have our first co-host of the sports podcast. Please welcome the ever so popular in the Critical Strike community, the ever so English Sam Clark. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, not bad. So,
You're supposed to say bollocks at some point. What the fuck, dude? Keep the stereotype going.
do you really want me to say bollocks?
No, I don't really give a shit.
I can go as English as you want me to go.
Well, I think we still want people to understand this, so we'll try to keep it down as much as we can. But we got a bit to talk about. You know, we have the recent, report of the NHL's first offer of the new collective bargaining agreement. It's a really ridiculous joke. We're also going to talk about the British Open, which will be this weekend, I believe, Sam. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, then again, technically it's tomorrow, so whatever, but...
I'm sure there was one going on last weekend as well, so, yeah.
Other than that, I got a little bit of a personal thing, because we have the Blue Jays, who are just injury-ridden, and it just got no better, because Jose Bautista is now out. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the state of English football. Yes, not the NFL, we're talking the English Premier League and everything else, because there is, especially with the Euro Cup, there is a sour taste in my mouth, and I need to get a little bit of rage out. So, with that being said... And so, you know, I can tell Sam's already itching to start talking about it, but he's got to wait. And this is going to be fun, because you can tell it's just going to bottle and bottle up until it's going to go.
Yeah.
But
There's lots of crap going on, but I'll wait till later.
But first, we're going to talk about the NHL CBA. I mean, for anybody, I don't know if you were a fan of hockey at that point, Sam, because in 2005 they went straight to a lockout. They did not play the entire season.
My first hockey was watching the Senators in the Stanley Cup final against Anaheim, I believe.
And who won that one?
It was Anaheim, but I still started supporting the underdogs, the people who lost. I didn't go for the winners.
They did do pretty good though last season. I'll give them that. So.
Yeah, we did.
But the lockout from 2005, they finally agreed. They've made a new agreement, and now this year they're negotiating a new one. And the NHL released their first offer over the weekend. And I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I think they must have been smoking a little bit of cheap before they did this, because I don't know how the hell they think this is going to get signed, let alone even be close to what the NHLPA is going to offer back. But the three main things was they want a player salary cut from 57% revenue that they have right now to 46%. So what that means already is that they won't even give players half the salary in the revenue that comes in. That's the first sign that I don't think the owners have any fucking clue what the hell collective bargaining is. That's not sharing, that's taking more of the profit, and considering the players are doing most of the work, seems a little unfair to me. What do you think?
You're right in saying that. It's like the players, they're the ones who are playing the sport. I know you've got your wage caps all in it, but that's just going to reduce it. But it might help with getting a bit more players into the scene. But the players struck before due to pay cuts and all that, I believe. That's why they struck. I'm English, so you have to correct me if I'm wrong here. But the players aren't going to take that well, losing more money for what they're getting paid to do. It's not the safest sport. You're on ice and you're getting hit at quite high speeds, and they're going to get hurt. So they need something. It's like not like 11% drop. They maybe drop it a little bit, but not 11%. The owners they make enough money as it is. They don't need it all.
Well, exactly. I mean, I even said to you before we started this, I'm like, the revenue has actually gone up. Like, they've made more money in the last year than they did before. So why the hell does that justify a player salary cut? If they want to cut it like a little bit, like cut it to maybe, I don't know, maybe the owners get maybe 48 and the players get 52, because the players, as far as I'm concerned, they're the workhorses in this. They deserve the more money because they're the ones taking the punishment. The owners are just sitting there, and especially in the case of like guys like Gary Bettman in the NHL, who are literally the only reason I know they want this cut is so they can make more money to pay off the Phoenix Coyotes, because the dumb shits, they're so ignorant and just can't accept the fact that franchise is not working. Franchises like that are losing a shit ton of money, and while places like Toronto are making money, and they have to share the money that they're making to keep these goddamn lazy, terrible franchises alive. And now the players are having to suffer with it too. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because you've had Winnipeg, they're new to the league, and they went from Atlanta, or was it
Yeah.
somewhere else?
Yeah, it was Atlanta.
Atlanta Thrashers, they were failing, and now they've been moved to Winnipeg.
And they sold out their season tickets like that, like nobody's business.
Yeah, because hockey in Canada is much bigger than it is in America, because you've got American football, you've got baseball, you've got hockey, what else you got down there?
You got basketball, you got the MLS that's going on, you know.
Yeah. Well, in Canada, you've got hockey and you've got the Blue Jays.
Because I mean, yeah, really, the only
Baseball
thing that in Canada that has anything other than hockey is Toronto. Toronto has the basketball team. They have the MLS team. Actually, Montreal and Vancouver have their MLS team now, so they have two things. But really, hockey is everything to Canada. Baseball is starting to creep its way back up into the Blue Jays since, the 93-94 championships. And honestly, basketball, I think, is starting to die off because the Raptors are just terrible. But that's a whole nother story.
They had a team up there, but okay.
Yeah, no, that's probably why, because they suck. But
okay.
But it's just, considering that Atlanta, I guess I can understand if it I mean, you think of like places like Dallas used to work at some point. Dallas is starting to lose a little bit of money, but I guess if Atlanta had a better team, if they had a better owner, somebody that actually knew what the hell they were doing, maybe we'd be talking a different story. But a place like Phoenix, I don't think anywhere where it doesn't snow, minus LA and or California and Florida, because California was made big by Gretzky, so they're okay, and Florida's a big hotspot for Canadians anyway. But a place like Phoenix, where there's no such thing as snow, none of them know what the fuck it is, and, it's nothing but desert, like, that's your first sign where if Canada has no part in it, and if there's nobody in that area that can really advertise the game, it just defeats the purpose.
Yeah, it's Arizona, which is basically southeast you can get, right next to Mexico. So it's sun and sea, but it's not going to be that big down there.
And I mean, I know that they were trying to find another owner, and I don't even think that's going to be a fix. All it is just going to keep the team afloat for another 5 years till he wants it. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's probably just another rich man's toy.
Yeah, exactly. But the other two things in the contract, or not the contract, the negotiations that they put out, is that salaries will be as many as 5 years now. It won't be you won't be seeing those double-digit contracts. And that players, if they want to be an unrestricted free agent, they have to have played more than 10 years in the NHL, not 7, which is what it currently is. Because what it is right now is if you're either 27 or you've played for 7 years, you can become an unrestricted free agent. I have two problems with that, obviously, for both of them. 10 years is a long time. Not that many guys are going to be players in the NHL for 10 years, especially with injuries now, with the concussions and everything else. And not all of them are going to be high-ranked players at 10 years. Yeah, the other thing is that with the 5 years max, can you imagine a guy like Sidney Crosby, the star of the NHL, getting signed to just a 5-year deal?
No, he's one of your big players. You've got your big players in hockey. You've got your Crosbys, Carlsons, the Sedin twins. What are the Boston ones called?
Well, I mean, there's the guys in Minnesota that just signed the 13 years one, right? The Parise and Suter.
Yeah, Suter. You've got your big players, and you've got them on your bigger contracts. They're the ones you want to hold down. They're the people. They're the mainstays that get your crowd in. They're the big boys. They're the ones that everybody wants to see. They want to see Crosby deep 2 people out and score a brilliant goal backhanded, and see Carlsons and all them people knock someone out. It's what they pay to come and see. So saying you've only got a 5-year contract, it sort of brings it down a bit, and then adding that to the 10 years. You might get a 5-year contract and then not get another contract with them. So you can't become an unrestricted free agent. You just have to sit around in the reserves for another 5 years. Yeah.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, because Crosby right now is almost at his 10-year point. What if he had a 5-year contract and after that 5 years it was 10 years? That was the 10-year point where he could start being in UFA.
Yeah.
What would that mean to to Pittsburgh, who has had this star for his entirety of his career, and all of a sudden now, just like that, because they can't have a long contract to keep him in there for a little bit longer until he gets to the point where he's now a veteran and he's starting to lose his talent, that they're going to lose him when he's still in his prime. To any, it goes for the same guy like Ovechkin or, Even guys like Parise and Suter, had they been lost to Minnesota, if they were only going for 5 years. They're losing guys too quickly. 5 years is too much. I said 1,000 times to everybody, 7 or 8 makes sense. I understand no 10 years. I think double-digit contracts are ridiculous because they're never going to pan out the way you want them to.
Yeah. So, and then you've got they can't become unrestricted free agents for that long. So when they get out to the end of their 5 years, another team who's got money can come in and start taking them away from them, because you've got the decrease in player wages. That could mean a big thing. A smaller team who've got less money, but have got players on smaller contracts, might have that money to spend on his wages. So they could take him from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, because they've got all their other stars, they might not be able to afford the increase in his wage due to the reduction in the wages as well. So they could lose one of their best players to someone who can just pay him a bit more.
Exactly.
So it's you want your big stars on long contracts so you can actually keep them there till them. You don't want to lose them. You want to make sure you can get rid of them on your terms.
Yep.
If you need to be, like through trading or anything like that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I can't wait to see how big a fuck you the NHLPA gives back after this offer came out. I'm going to be sitting there just waiting to see how massive this backlash is going to be, because this is a ridiculous first offer. To me, it's almost like a declaration of war. So I look forward to that, but we should probably move on here. The next thing we were going to talk about, like I said, is the British Open. And the reason I pulled this up, most people are thinking, why the hell are we talking about golf? Golf's not that big over here. Well, here's the thing. It's in Britain again. And the interesting stat is, while a British guy has won in Scotland, I think 3 times, but the last time between this 43-year period since Tony Jacklin won it, no British guy has won any British Open that actually comes in Europe. They've only won it in Scotland. So I don't know what it is, Sam. Maybe you can shed some light on this. What is it with you guys at home? Because you can't win the Open Championship in England, and you can't win Wimbledon. What the fuck's going on?
To me, golf is luck. It's however good you are, you can't. You've got your conditions, you've got your weather conditions, you've got everything. You might not be at the top of your game on that one day. So
but it's your home court. You guys should be used to the rain. Suck it up.
We should do, but the rain and the wind changes everything. You look at an Open last year that an Irish guy won. I can't remember his name at this point in time, but the first day, sun was out, and everybody was doing well. There was people at -8. Then the next day, storm came in, wind, rain, everything. Everybody was in positive figures again. They were all above zero. They were all above par, and it was basically whoever could play the green the best and sort of use the luck of it and the weather conditions came out on top. And you lost some good players on the second day when the cup came in, and you had the rest. And this guy who had never won it before, one of the old greats of Ireland and that, won it, and it was seen as a really big deal then. But then you've got all our number ones, and you've got like Donald, who's number 1, and Justin Rose is number 3.
I was going to say, you guys have a good chance this year because you have Luke Donald at 1, you have Justin Rose at 3, you even have Ian Poulter, I think, in the top 30 or something like that as well. So
Ian Poulter's number 28, yeah.
So you got some good chances. I mean, there's other safe bets outside of it. I mean, everybody's going to be thinking, okay, Tiger Woods is probably going to be in the mix. You got Lee Westwood, who's been doing really well lately. Rory McIlroy is always in there.
Yeah.
A dark horse for a lot of people is Patrick Harrington, because he's finished top 10 in 2 majors already, and he did win in 07 and 08. Or I think it was 08 or 09, one or the other. He won in 08 for sure, I just can't remember if it's 7 or 9. But either way, like, he's had really good experience playing in this championship. So there's a lot of guys that, guys like Donald and Rose are going to have to really go through. And I mean, again, like you just said, it's all about luck. I mean, think of last year. I think 3 of the 4 majors were won by unknowns. Because I think Schwartzel last year was the guy who won the Masters. Nobody was like, who the hell's this guy? And that's the beauty of the majors.
No one really understood who he was at the beginning of when he first won his thing. He was like, he was that breath of fresh air to golf. It was this young guy coming in and showing the older guys up, the older generation up, who've been playing the game for 20-odd years.
Exactly.
And he came in and won it. And it was like, look at this guy. He's brilliant. He's a good player, but what has he won since?
And that's the beauty of golf, too, because now that Tiger is on this path where he doesn't have it anymore, anybody can win now. And that's what I've started to be more interested in golf. I don't watch it live because I don't think it's the greatest thing you could ever watch. I'd rather watch NASCAR, and you guys know how I feel about NASCAR. But like, it's great to have a game where literally it's not owned by one guy, where there's always going to be somebody else winning. It's not to the point where it was with Tiger winning 3 out of the 4 majors every year, which it takes away the fun of it. It makes the betting odds ridiculous. You can't win a lot of money if you're taking the Tiger bet. I mean, Tiger's still going to have good odds, but this time it could pay out a lot more if he does win. But then again, you can go with a guy like I said, Patrick Harrington, and if he wins, you make a fucking fortune off that.
Yeah, there's 10 people in the top 10. Either one of them could win it. Anybody could win it. It's not all down to the English guys or the top 3 players. And you don't have your big guns like you do in other sports who are like, they're dead on to get first, like the Canucks. They think they've won the present. They've got in the top 2, like both seasons, last 2 seasons. And you've got your big dogs in the Premier League. You've got your big dogs in all sports. You've got the team that's there, and they're dead on certain to win it. But in golf, it's anybody. It depends on what happens on the day. It's one person, not a team. So it's up to that one person to do their best and sort of on the day be good enough to win it. Really, It's anything can happen, and that's one thing. I'm not the biggest golf person in the world, but that's one good thing about it. Is that anybody can win it. Doesn't matter who the hell you are, exactly. And that's brilliant.
Well, we'll be watching that. Well, I'll be keeping up with it. I won't be watching it, but we'll see if who the hell is this guy wins the tournament this year? Because I don't think it'll be anybody. I think the streak's going to continue because it's too easy. I can't imagine a guy like Donald Rose winning this year. As much as I think that'd be pretty nice, so people can stop talking about streaks again. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing it. It's like how I wanted Andy Murray to win because I'm like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of hearing every year. Oh, no British guys won at Wimbledon. That's because you guys haven't gotten the MI6 or the SAS to steal Djokovic, kidnap him, bring him to that, and give him citizenship so he plays for your country. Guys got to start doing that. You're used to kidnapping people. Where the hell did that go?
We don't do that anymore, but
secretly, come on.
To be honest, if Andy Murray was going off topic here, but if he was born in a different era, he would have won it by now.
Probably.
He's having to go against Nadal, Federer.
It's like how anybody's a Toronto Maple Leaf, and the second they leave, they're like 10 times better.
He's just born in the wrong era. We've got so many good tennis players nowadays that he's just unlucky, really. Exactly. You've got the good players, and Nadal, Federer, Djokovic's, Tsonga, I think his name is, the French guy. Well, anyone could win it, and to be honest, he just wasn't up. He's not up to it yet.
Yeah, I think you'll see him compete a little bit more. I think at this point, though, he may have 3 or 4 more years. So, but we'll see how that goes too. He's got
plenty of time. Yeah, because Federer's 30 at this moment, and Murray's still 25, 26.
Yep. So, I mean, we've seen though with tennis that there's always a short lifespan when it comes to your careers. But either way, Brits can't win in Britain. I don't know what that is, but we'll shovel that away and we'll worry about it at the end of Sunday. But I'm going to get a little bit more personal here because obviously Sam's not a big baseball fan. I'm sure he's like, oh, it's American cricket, right?
American Rounders.
But
doesn't get to cricket status yet.
For anybody who is a big Blue Jays fan, they've understood that this has probably been the worst year that I think we've ever seen because we've lost 3 of our 5 starting pitchers. We've lost Morrow, we've lost Draybeck, we've lost Hutchison. We're bringing in more guys, and they're getting injured with elbow and shoulder surgeries and everything else. But we got our big kick where Jose Bautista, our big slugger, the home run leader, he is going to be out at least on the 15-day disabled list because he tore a tendon in his wrist. Thankfully, it's not anything worse than that, so he should be back at some point in the season. But at this point, it pretty much means we're fucked. We're done. But people have been going through the conversations over and over. What should Alex Anthopoulos do as the GM? Should he be trying to replace all these guys? No. Just get the key pieces that you've been trying to do all year and just fix it for next year. Because really, you're not going to compete with the Yankees. You're not going to compete with the Red Sox because, quite frankly, Rogers, who owns the Blue Jays, will not pay the money to keep up with the Yankees. We are the 4th biggest metropolitan city in the entire continent of North America, and we are, I think, 22nd in spending. There are guys that are in fucking like Arizona that are spending more money, like guys like in Chicago or stuff like that. We should be spending at least 150 and we're spending 80. It's like if the Leafs were spending the bare minimum of the Phoenix Coyotes while there's teams like, Detroit and Pittsburgh and all these teams that are spending to the cap. It's ridiculous. But I wanted to ask you, Sam, if you could think of anything over where you are in sports where you've seen a team literally get crushed because of injury problems.
Oh, God. It's a hard one. There's not through injury problems, but Luton Town, a few years ago, they were docked 30 points and fined a lot of money due to money issues and sort of going into debt and all that. And they were docked 30 points, and that was at the beginning of the season. So they started the season on minus 30 points. So that's massive. Basically, knew they were down, but they gave them a massive fight, and I think they got within 4 points or a bit less of safety. But they got to what they did do is get to we've got within the bottom two leagues, League One, League Two, and I believe the top end of the conference, you've got something called the Johnston Paint Trophy, and they got there. And this small team, bottom of League Two, going down, going up against a League One side, more than likely going to get promotion. And they beat them 3-2. And throughout it, their fans were singing, and they were basically abusing the hell out of the FA, which is brilliant, in my opinion. But from what they've been, it wasn't through injury that they got disabled, it was through point deductions and absolutely getting everything. Because most of the time it would have been like 15-point deduction, but it was 30-point deduction. That could take you over half a season to get those 30 points.
That's a huge loss.
It does not come over. It doesn't come straight away after like 5 games. It comes after like half a season, 20 games, more. So you got to win your first 20 games just to get back to 0 points.
Yeah.
So.
Because I mean, if you can't think of any, I can't think of any other time in any sport that I can remember where a team has literally been this injury ridden and it's killed them. I mean, there are always hockey teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, football teams, soccer teams, because I have to say soccer because our North American friends have no idea what I'm talking about. But
Yes.
every team's going to have injuries, but to the point of this, where it's literally they've lost 3 starters, and now they've lost their biggest bat, which is a huge killer. It's just to the point where it's like, yeah, they're done. But we'll finish off, and I'm not sure what I'm going to call this segment. I listed it as extra innings, but I can't guarantee nothing yet because this is our first time doing this, so whatever. But like I said at the beginning of the podcast, after watching the Euro 2012, I had a pretty sour taste in my mouth, and a lot of people who do know me personally knows I'm half Italian, and I am probably the least supporting Italian ever. I can't stand Italy. I can't stand their players. I can't stand their coach with the biggest grin on his face when they beat Germany. I swear to God, I literally could have... He looked like he got a Joker grin from The Dark Knight. I swear, it was creepy as shit. But the problem I have with English football, or at least, European football, and it's the same problem that I think a lot of people have with it here in North America, and I wanted to get it from you as well, is we don't like the fact that it's such a prima donna sport, it's such like a dramatic sport, there's so much just yelling, screaming, complaining, and the fans with all the riots, all the drinking, all the stupid shit, like when, I think it was, what was the Poland-Russia game, they had the big riot?
I know the Russians got fined, was it Russians? Yeah, they got fined through all 3 of their games due to flares being chucked on the pitch, racist abuse, just...
Because, like, someone...
just doing stuff, and it was like, throughout all 3 of their games, they were fined. They didn't take a lesson from it, they were fined, and from all 3 of their games.
Yep.
So it could have been more if they stayed in, but the shock defeat to Greece, that put them out. So, to be honest, that was not a thing.
Because someone tried to explain to me that, it's the only sport in the world that has politics integrated into it. I'm like, well, then how can you respect that sport? Because nobody respects the political aspects of anything.
I'd say it was more money than politics.
Well, yeah, but why are people rioting in the streets because they hate certain countries because of what they're going at each other's throats for?
History.
Yeah, and to me that's unforgivable and disrespectful because it's a game. It's a fucking game. You don't see Leaf fans going to Ottawa and kicking the shit out of everybody. You don't see them going to Montreal and kicking the shit out of everybody. They go after each other like guys do on Xbox Live, where they're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get you, you fucking asshole, that kind of stuff. You don't see them literally beating each other to shit and causing fires and everything else. It's not like Vancouver, where that's probably the most deplorable thing I think I've ever seen, the big Stanley Cup riot. But I don't understand why fans think it's their right to do anything in that sort. It's a game. Get over it. Your team's going to lose. I'm a Leafs fan. I've accepted the fact that we're not going to win the cup anytime soon. I'm not going to cry over it. I'm not going to fight somebody over it. So, from your perspective, what the fuck's going on?
In my opinion, it's much better. We're not getting what we had in the 80s, 90s, and the 70s. We're not having the mass riot, hooliganism fights that people do. They're still around. You still got the firms, as they're called here, that still sort of plan and meet up and have a big fight. It's that sort of calmed down a bit. You're mainly seeing most of this violent across in the East Bloc, in the post-communist states of Russia and all that. They're still the ones who have still got the sort of racist backgrounds. They're the ones who are more likely to fight rival teams and all that. It's just how it sort of is, and it's not right, it's not good, and it does bring bad name to football, or soccer I should say, but it's football.
It's okay. It's okay. You're allowed to say it. I can't.
True, but it's going to come with time. It's like with all the races and stuff. It's sort of people think it's all coming back in. You've had last season some of the biggest ever mentions of it. You had Evra and Suarez. You've had John Terry and Rio Ferdinand's little brother. And one went to court and he came off not guilty. I'm a bit dubious of that fact, but that's another matter. And then the other one, Suarez banned for a load of games and fined, which was the right decision. And he's got abuse. I know when they came to Norwich, my local team who I support, both of them, Terry and Suarez, got abused to hell due to what they'd done. Because no one likes that. Whatever it is, it shouldn't happen in football. We've come on from the 80s and all that, where it was rife in football, racism. You've got, this is a big story, this is most people might know his name, but Justin Fashanu. He is until recently, the only player to have come out to say he was gay. And he was ripped into by the papers, fans, and everything. He was a brilliant football player. There's a goal he scored against Liverpool when he was playing for Norwich that it's described as the best goal ever scored in the Premier League. But you would think Norwich won that game 1-0 because that's the only thing anybody remembers of that game, this goal he scored. But we lost 5-3. But in the end, he did commit suicide due to all the crap he was getting. And he was this young footballer. He'd come out as gay, and there's now someone in Denmark who's done the same thing. And you can see how times have moved on. This guy, he's come out as his gay, and I don't believe there's been much abuse towards him. But back in the 80s and the 90s, it was rife, and it ended a bright young talent of football to ending his own life, which you should never see. It should be cracked down and stopped. And in all sports, you're going to have your fans who are complete dickheads and ruin it for everybody else. And luckily, I can say that at my club, we're majority, at least 99% of us, are nice people. We'll get on with anyone. We'll get on with any other team. We had the Celtic come down from Scotland for a testimonial match for one of our players, and it was just basically a pie. Everybody got on with everyone. Everybody was singing, getting along fine. There was no violence. Everybody was afterwards. They were drinking with the Scots in the local pubs. No violence whatsoever. We made up a new friendship with them.
Well, I guess the best thing we can really say is trolls be trolling. But
yeah. You're always going to have your idiot who thinks they're big and clever by going, I'm going to deck you and all that. But they're not. They're small and they're basically cowards. They would not do it if they didn't have an audience.
Exactly.
If they're on their own, they would never do it.
That's the thing. That's why there's a whole other conversation with the way things are on Xbox Live, that kind of deal. But this is sports. So, when we were playing Minecraft, because I have to go back to gaming anyway, last night, we were talking about this issue as well, and I was talking about the I can't even talk now. The CONCACAF championships that TFC was playing. I can't remember which Mexican team it was, but when they were in Toronto playing at home, anytime something didn't go the Mexicans' way, they literally rushed to the guys or to the referees and just screamed his goddamn head off. And anytime something happened in Toronto, they'd still kind of talk to him. It wouldn't be as obvious. They literally weren't trying to literally choke the hell out of him. And I don't know what it is with players in football. I really don't get it. I don't understand why they think that they're this these big egotistical dickheads who think that they own everything. You're being paid by people above you to play. Get over yourselves. You're going to just try to enjoy yourself because you're making a shitload of money doing absolutely jack shit. You're running around a field and kicking a ball. Woo! There are guys working in factories, busting their ass and sweating in no air-conditioned weather that are killing themselves over it, just like $10 an hour. And you guys are getting paid millions of dollars? Go to hell.
But I totally agree with you. What I can say, though, is that compared to other sports, referees are not respected in football. Only the top leagues get the referees who are full-time referees. It's the lower leagues, they get people who are coming in from other jobs and they only do it part-time. So they're not learning the rules all the time, so they might make mistakes, but
either way,
they're going to make mistakes.
Either way, that's not an excuse.
It is an excuse, I know that, but due to them not being as just because they're not full-time in the job, the players are going to rush around them and try and say they're wrong. And then you've got the good referees, like the referees who go to the championships, the World Cup, European Cup, who are the good ones who they demand respect and they get it. But it's some that just rush around because it's football. It's like if you don't, you're going to be seen as not trying to win your team money. But this is what, in my opinion, this is only happening in the top leagues. As the lower you go down the leagues, the less likely you are to see it. In the League Ones, League Twos, Conference, they get on with it because it's more rough and tumble the lower down the leagues you get because you've got the less skillful players. So they're gonna get tackled, they're gonna get fouled. So it happens. And in the Premier Leagues, the Liga, Syria, the Spanish one, which I can't remember what it's called now.
They basically expect that they're untouchable.
Yeah, they believe they're untouchable. You've got your Ronaldo's who's a complete fucking dickhead to me.
I was going to say, Cristiano Ronaldo is a very notorious prima donna in football.
Yeah, he is the biggest prima donna in the world, and I was lucky enough to see Darren Huckabee, who used to play for Norwich, take the ball off him and outpace him. This is Cristiano Ronaldo, who's meant to be like one of the fastest players. Our player outpaced him. When Cristiano Ronaldo just hacked him down and got booked and he had to go and he was like, seriously mate, you've just been had by someone who's like twice your age and has fake knees.
Because clearly it was a game he didn't think it was worth trying for.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people didn't have Portugal on their list and even make it into the quarters because they're thinking, Ronaldo's never playing very good when he's playing for his team because he just doesn't care.
No, the reason is that if you shut Cristiano Ronaldo down, Portugal are fucked. He's their only big game player. That's it. It's if you watch Portugal, they lose the ball, go back, tackle it, give it to Cristiano Ronaldo. He goes and takes on 5 players. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Loses the ball, comes back again, goes to Ronaldo. He crosses it in, or he gets in the box or across, and it's all revolved around him. He's their big name player. It's silly. It's like you don't have like with what the other teams have when it's like a team. The Germans were a team, and they all work for each other. And Spain, I know they're the most boring team in the world because they didn't actually play a striker for half their games. I'm sorry, but I don't believe they did not deserve to win that European Cup. They were so negative and defensive that it annoys the hell out of me. They're so freaking boring. I need to go to sleep watching the final. But that's another story.
So I guess to finish off here, then the only question is there anything that can be done to kind of bring the image back to football? Because I don't know if you have to like find guys for who you think are excessively diving, who are cussing out referees excessively, that kind of. Is there anything that can be done to kind of bring a little bit of respect back to it?
Yeah, there is. You've got the rules in. You're not meant to cuss at the referee. You can get booked for all that and sent off. That shouldn't be.
But do they fine them for it?
So they should do. I haven't heard any recent ones of it happening.
Because as we've said over and over again, when it comes to especially sports players, if you want to get their attention, you have to go after their wallet.
Yeah, it's the money situation. It's stupid in football. You're looking at some of the top. Because this is what I know most of. It's the top 4 in Premier League football: Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham now, who have just sort of recently come into it. But they've got billionaire owners. You look at Chelsea's, he's a Russian oil baron, weapons dealer, and he earns billions of pounds, and they're spending shed loads of money, and they can pay their players £200,000 a week.
That's another sport that needs a salary cap.
Seriously, that's one thing I think we should bring in as a salary cap.
It's the same with baseball. That's another argument for another day. Baseball needs a salary cap too, but they're like European football. It's just people are so traditionalist and just can't get over the fact that they like the big franchises. They can't get over the fact that other teams should have their chance to shine.
Yeah, it's like back in the day, anybody could win the top leagues. Nowadays, you've got 5 teams who can win the top leagues, but it's always in between whoever spent the most. Man City in the last few years has spent billions, or about that, because of the amount. One season they bought about 6 strikers at the cost of about 200 million because one of them wasn't working, and it's silly. The money going out in football is silly, and unless you cut the money and not cut it totally, but stop it. Also, Sky is helping this. There's lower leagues, you don't stand a chance. Last season, you had Swansea and Norwich. Both of them were tipped to come 20th and 19th. They came 11th and 12th and shocked every single other team in that league.